We got a developing situation with the 49ers and Brandon Aiyuk, and it is not good. 3 questions for you to answer today, beginning with Twin Peaks. Each drink scenic views and 29-degree beer. Brandon Aiyuk, the situation, as I said, is not good. Christian McCaffrey on NFL Network talking about his teammate and referring to him. How? Take a look at this.
That's not part of my job. It's not part of my position. I think obviously as a former teammate, teammate of his in general, any teammate that you have, you love, you respect them, you want the best for them.
Yeah, that's not good. Referring to his current teammate as a former teammate already. And then Christian McCaffrey continued, and I think he's saying a little bit too much. Listen close to this.
I stay out of it completely. That's way above my pay grade, and I just try to focus on what I can do every single day. But obviously, we always wish the best for any of our teammates, whether they're here or not. Obviously, we hope he's here. Just it's a tough part of the business.
Whether they're here or not, he's standing right behind you. Questions on the board. What does McCaffrey actually know? He knows a whole lot more than he's intentionally telling us. He had more than a Freudian slip. It is clear and obvious that Christian McCaffrey has been briefed by either the GM, most certainly Kyle Shanahan, the head coach, that it is much more likely Brandon Aiyuk is gone than it is that he is staying. There's an old expression that doctors would use, sitting down with the family of a patient in which things don't look good. And the doctor would say, I want you to hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. It is obvious that Christian McCaffrey's been told to prepare for the worst, and he let it slip. Freudian slip? Yes. Beyond that? Yes. What does he actually know? He knows that it's much more likely Aiyuk is gone than it is that he's staying. Let's continue on the Brandon Aiyuk discussion. John Lynch and Shanahan. This teed up by X Golf in West Palm Beach, opening soon. X Golf WPB on Instagram. John Lynch in late July talking about the situation with Brandon Aiyuk, being asked about restructuring his deal. I want you to watch very closely for his body language and the shift with his hands and his arms and what he does when asked this question that he was hoping not to be asked. Take a look.
Is there a possibility that you do some sort of restructuring like you did with Raheem Mostert back in the past?
Everything's a possibility. We not gonna get into negotiations and as Kyle says, there's no absolutes. So we're open to anything. And like I said, Brandon's a big part of this team, and we expect that he will be going forward.
No absolutes, he says. We'll get to that coming up in a second. You saw the hands, you saw him talk, you saw the self-soothing behavior of the body language. Well, back to the absolute, because then John Lynch gets asked about last year and Bosa, and he said, absolutely, he's not leaving. Absolutely, he's staying. Absolutely, he's going to be a Niner, etc. Same question asked in late July in regard to Brandon Aiyuk. Listen closely to what Lynch said here.
Last year, you gave us an absolute that Bosa would not be traded.
Nervous laugh.
Did you make that same statement about Brandon?
Oh, boy. Kyle and I always, we kind of, I did say that with Bosa, and I felt that way. But, I think, again, no absolutes there.
Wow.
We fully intend on Brandon being a Niner moving forward. We're always open to listen to things. But like I said, we expect Brandon to be an integral part of our team like he has been, and excited about that.
So you would absolutely absolute it with Bosa last year, but you won't go there. You won't guarantee it this time around. Interesting. And then we've got head coach Kyle Shanahan talking to the media yesterday. Listen closely to the words he chooses and what he says in regard to the situation with Brandon Aiyuk.
It's been at this point for a little bit, so it's nothing really new to me. You're always disappointed when you can't keep a hold of all your players or it's not going exactly right. I don't like losing anybody. So that's why I'm hoping it does work out here. But right now we don't have that solved yet, so I hope it does.
Doesn't sound very reassuring. He's talking about hoping, not it will. The question is on the board. Was John Lynch lying? Yes or no? Lying comes down to 2 areas, deception and deceit. Deception is when you're not being really forthcoming, telling everything, volunteering information. And deceit is when you are flat out lying. John Lynch is being deceptive. His body language, I told you to watch the hands and the arms. The FBI and the CIA will teach you in nonverbals, in science. These behaviors are self-soothing behavior. That's a self-hug. That's an indication he's not comfortable with the conversation. He didn't like that question about restructuring. And now he realizes that he's got to be less than completely honest. And by the way, humans do not like to lie. They don't want to. They're willing to, and they will on the regular, 8 times a day, in fact, on average. But John Lynch was being deceptive here more than he was being deceitful. He was not flat out lying to us. He just wasn't telling us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And that gets us to Brandon Aiyuk himself. Fascinating video, slbt.com, the home of honest, reliable service since 1970. Brandon Aiyuk captured on video by a fan at training camp, watching him walk across the field. I want you to watch very closely to how it is he interacts with both John Lynch and then with Kyle Shanahan. And I want you to watch closely to whom he gives the hug to and who he doesn't, but also the distance he maintains when interacting with both of these guys. There he is making his way. That's John Lynch throwing the football. John Lynch is going to try and get a hug. Nope, just a handshake. Thank you very much. And then he backs up. As Lynch backs up, Aiyuk does as well. But then Aiyuk wants to move towards Kyle Shanahan, who gets a full hug, who gets a handshake, who gets a smile. Lynch tries to engage him. Aiyuk says, yeah, no, thank you. I'll just back up out of this and create even more distance. Fascinating nonverbals being displayed by Brandon Aiyuk. Fascinating. The question is now on the board. What are his nonverbals telling us exactly? What Brandon Aiyuk is saying is, I like and trust Kyle Shanahan. I do not right now like nor trust John Lynch. We create space from people and things we don't like. Babies do it. Think about a baby reaching out to something it wants, a hug to be picked up. Think about a baby turning away from someone it doesn't want or doesn't like, or pushing away food. Human beings exhibit these behaviors. It is a reflex. It is limbic brain. It's not something we learn. It's programmed by DNA for millions of years. What Brandon Aiyuk is illustrating here is he doesn't want to be close to John Lynch. As John Lynch was backing up, he was backing up too to maintain that distance. Fascinating tell about how he feels. Good cop, bad cop. He likes Shanahan. He doesn't like Lynch. Trusts Shanahan. Doesn't trust Lynch. What he's saying is, you're, John Lynch, the reason why I'm going to wind up not being here. And in fact, I really, really want to be here. Hit like, hit subscribe, and most of all, comment. See if you agree with me. If not, tell me why. We'll get to it. Remember, kids, every day above ground is a good day. Some are just more questionable than others. Say goodnight to the bad guy. See you tomorrow.